This episode of The General's Gentleman is sponsored by Ashes of the Singularity. Take control of epic battles in a massive scale RTS where you control thousands of units. With up to 14 players per game, it's the biggest RTS to date.
Welcome to The General's Gentleman.
Alrighty, welcome back to Total Annihilation. I'm casting another 1 versus 1 match here. Spawning at the top left, playing as the arm, Peseki. His opponent, playing as the core in the bottom right, Executrix. Now, I thought this was a 4v4 because there was 8 players, but 6 of them are spectators. That actually gives me a bit of optimism because I'm assuming this must have been a good game, or at least it was anticipated to be a good game if there was that many players watching this live. So, let's see. I haven't watched this replay or anything, so I don't know if it'll be as exciting as the previous one. I was keen on doing more team games, but it seems most of these replays are 1v1, so it's going to be harder for me to do team games. And I casted this one I'm casting it now, just after the 2v2 that I did, and I'm kind of in that casting mood still, so I wanted to cast another one right away, rather than if I spend half an hour looking for a replay, or then by then you kind of lost your keen crashes, and you can't have that. You gotta ride that hype wave, both physically and figuratively speaking. My chair is actually a surfboard. And the Jeffies, the scout vehicles here, very early scouting. 3 of them too. Was that even 4 of them? Well, it's 4 of them. So they can take out those construction units if there's 4 of them. And certainly they can take out extractors quickly and solar collectors and all kinds of those buildings. I seem to have a especially bad case of can't view edge of the screen. I can't even zoom out as well. Something that I haven't done in our casts is, well, my casts, is use the strategic zoom. But yeah, this is actually kind of annoying. Normally it hasn't mattered. In this map it seems to actually matter somewhat. Wow, double construction K-bot. Oh man. These Jeffies are going to have a fantastic time. The commander needs to be in position here, but... Okay, it actually has an AK bot in position, so maybe he'll be okay. Yeah, it will take some time to actually take one of those out with those scout vehicles, so... Needs to avoid them, but going into the commander instead isn't a good alternative. So maybe these 4 scout craft won't exactly achieve much. You can reclaim this as well. Okay, no, they get out. He's doing some poke. I don't know if he's repairing the other one. 5 Jeffies? I wonder how many he needs to take out one of these AK bots, because if he just goes in and kills it, and then takes out the metal extractor, that'd be worth it. One Jeffy goes down. Yeah, wow. My kingdom for a health bar. You can see the smoke though. I think you can see the smoke somewhere. Maybe he repaired it. Okay, going back in. Let's find an angle. You may actually get it here too. Shamrock can't see the vision. Nice. Well, but there's still more AK bots there though. Feels bad, man. Alright, what's behind this? A lot of economy, actually. Oh, that's what it is. Okay, I see. So this strategy that it seems is put a lot of pressure on with these scout vehicles. And even if they don't do anything, which they haven't, it's allowing him to go for a very economy focus behind them. There's no assault tanks, just pure extractors and pure collectors. So a very interesting strategy because his opponent, which is Executrix, is the core. He doesn't know what the follow-up is. He hasn't been able to scout this, and that's sort of the problem with going to the K-bot lab first, especially as core, is even the fastest units, the AKs, they're quite slow. You can't scout your opponent that easily, whereas if he went vehicle lab himself, or vehicle plant, or whatever it's called, he would be able to get his own scout vehicles and just send one around the side and just see what he's actually going for, because This is a lot of economy. Anti-air turrets is interesting, but at least there's laser turret there. There's none in the base. Finally, he's going for these light tanks. Okay, the good laser turret here. What's the metal extractor? I guess that's as good as he was gonna get out of them. Not a big deal though. Construction K-bot right nearby. Can reclaim those and rebuild that extractor. I don't see a lot of these solar collectors for his opponent. I only see about 3 of them. It's likely there's actually more off the edge of the screen. If anyone knows how to fix this, let me know. Because it's not just a resolution fix, it's related to this replay tool. So these flash tanks should trade pretty well. Versus only these AK bots, they're not so good. So I'm sort of calling them light tanks and flash tanks interchangeably. Flash is the name of the unit, but light tank the name of the role, or technically, what is it? Fast assault tank? It's a mouthful. 4 syllables, too many syllables. I think that's in general, a good unit design is simple names unless it's deliberately long because it's a really badass name. I think more than 2 syllables for a tier 1 unit's too many. I think a great example of this actually is StarCraft. You look at, say, all the tier 1 units, your Marine, your Zealot, your Zergling, they're all 2 syllables. So it's pretty easy. But then you go high tech and you've got battle cruisers. I guess carriers is only 2 syllables as well. What else is it? They get swarm. I'm blanking now. What the infestors? Broodlord. Yeah, I guess 2 syllables as well. Okay, well that's not fully consistent, but I mean in Ashes, the game that I'm a designer of, I deliberately made it so the Juggernauts, the tier 4 units, that they have these really long sounding badass names. So the ones that I named was the Agamemnon and the Eye of Darkness. So those are 4 or 5 syllables, which for a late game at tier 4 unit, it's kind of what you want. I don't think Subcom, they don't do that either, because you've got, in some sense, you have Galactic Colossus, like that's a badass name, but then you also have Fat Boy, Spider Bot, so... Well, technically, I suppose it's Experimental Spider Bot. Well, no, it's Monkey Lord. It's Monkey Lord is the name of it, so... I don't know. I guess other games don't really abide by this philosophy, but I personally think it's a good philosophy. Especially in the case of the Galactic Colossus, because it has a full name. Galactic Colossus, but you can just shorten it to Colossus. So then it looks badass when you see it in the unit tab. You're like, oh, that's a cool thing. But then when you're just saying it, you have the convenience of shortening it down. Same with the Eye of Darkness. You just say I, or the Queen-ness of the Queen. But anyway. Regardless. Flash tanks versus the AK bots. Pretty good fight here for the flash tanks. Outnumbered, outgunned, outmaneuvered. Lose all around. More of them on the side here, though. This construction K-bot is going to get caught out of position. We have the Rockos, the rocket K-bots. Wow, this is a good flank here, too. Does he go all the way to the top of the base? I don't know what the vision is like. I'm guessing it's not scouted, though. But there must be a radar. There's a radar there, so he would see this army coming. And I'm sure he'll reposition some units. They got cleaned up. Oh wow, this is nice, but laser turret actually finishes. Yeah, nice retarget going for the metal extractor. Yeah, here we see the flash tanks intercepted, but we better find one metal extractor, maybe the second one, or at least one of the solar generators. Yeah. Oh, it goes for this one. That's nice. So with the solar collectors is even if you don't destroy them, just by focusing it once, not only does it temporarily delay income, but it also does a lot of damage that first shot before the wings fold inwards. You do a lot of damage. And then once they're folded in, it takes a lot longer. So if you just give them a gentle tap on the way through, then when you come back later on, it's going to be a lot easier to finish them off. You maybe even better two-shot them if it's two pre-folded hits. I'm thinking of other RTS games. Avatar of Cain, Mammoth Tank. Well, actually, Predator Tank is more syllables than Mammoth Tank. Yeah, okay, I've given up the notion that other designers do that as well. It seems no one else does. Let me know what you think. Do you think that's interesting? Do you think that's a cool idea? I certainly think, at the very least, games would avoid having 3 or 4 syllables for a tier 1 unit. I think that's just bad design. But I can't think of any games that even do that. So, Buzzer Swarm, 3 syllables. Yeah, regardless. I just like articulating my thoughts and ranting about stuff. And I got plenty of time to do it. TA is not a very fast-paced game. Or at least, when you're playing it, it's fast-paced. There's a lot of stuff to do, but when you're watching it, you're kind of just waiting for things to blow up. Heavy laser turret completes just in time to force away these Roccos. A lot of flash tanks down the south. Now there is a radar here. I don't know how much range it actually has on it though. Maybe it will detect it, but it could be too late. These are pretty exposed, all of these solar collectors. A lot better map control here for the ARM player, Peseki. Due to his opener, he's in a really great spot, and he's just constantly in the driver's seat, so he's containing his opponent. He's going to lose all of these solar collectors now. This is really nasty. The laser turrets may take out several of these Roccos, but definitely worth. Okay, down the south now, the flash tanks versus the instigator tanks. Definitely bigger numbers there for the ARM. Cleaned up, it seems. Oh, but this is a big problem though. No laser turrets in the main base. If you actually take out both of these vehicle plants, that would be a big issue for his production. He's going for the constructors too. I think very good laser turret. One production structure down. Oh no, he's building a solar collector. Never mind. So, if you can just camp out the production and as they spawn, just focus them down one at a time. Because if they consolidate, it looks like he was able to clean up the units there, but still pretty effective. And behind this, you know, bear in mind, Peseki is expanding, is teching up. That's his advanced K-bot lab. So he's in a great spot here. He's continuing to pump out these flash tanks and these Roccos. The tanks aren't done just yet. Going for the radar is really good because they die instantly. Instantaneously. I think instantaneously doesn't mean instantly. It means near instantly. Though I could also just be making that up. Well, what's the game plan here for Core? Okay, he's actually going for an advanced vehicle plant. It'll take a while to get though. I guess he has a fair bit of Rex he can reclaim here. Also going to be rebuilding some of those bell extractors. It does have the heavy infantry K-bots. I think they're called Max, M-A-K. There's plenty of Roccos, and as far as I understand it, the Roccos are decent versus them. They can just kite backwards with their longer range. I also think these lines are replay bugs. I have no idea what these are. I see them in every game that I've casted though. Or the replays that I've watched. Which is more than I've casted. Okay, he's going for, I think this is a construction unit. Boosting that very quickly. Generally, the first thing you do when you tech up is go for a construction unit and then just start putting Moho extractors. Because you really want to have the tier 2 income to fuel the tier 2 production. Decent amount of tanks here though. Man, look at these Roccos. Surprising he went for the middle expansion rather than for the corner. There's a lot of metal there, which would be certainly easier to hold. Okay, this army's being surrounded by the bottom and the top. Let's see if he fully commits to the cutoff, cutting off the reinforcements. It's a very old school Sun Tzu tactic that applies in the far future with robots in Pew Pew. Okay, good in the Zeus K-bots now. Yeah, going for the Moho extractor. Surprised he didn't pull all of these tier 1 construction K-bots to help with the construction. Yeah, it doesn't want to fight here with those heavy infantry K-bots. Down the south, however, Roccos have found some targets. Metal extractors, construction K-bots. Oh, the can. Oh, so actually it was a advanced K-bot lab, wasn't it? Advanced vehicle plant. But either way, the can's very powerful, very tough, just very slow. But on the defense, it's perfect. Fast-firing laser makes the Roccos reconsider. I think they can outrange them though, but we'll take some damage in the process. Zeus a little bit outnumbered. Yeah, see the cans are just too slow. Can't keep up. Similar situation here for the Zeus K-bots, can't really keep up either. The reason why I say Zeus K-bots is because you can't pluralize Zeus. Zeus's just sounds really weird. Which is why I'm used to saying Zeus Cruises from Ashes. Whereas I'll say Athenas or Apollos, because you can pluralize those words quite easily. I guess that's another little thing that I would keep in mind. If I end up making a new game, I would try to prevent names that you can't pluralize. I guess these things don't actually matter, but it's just because I'm a shoutcaster, I do really get annoyed by the inability to pluralize names, which for most people doesn't even consider. They don't consider that. I bet you StarCraft doesn't have any units that you can't pluralize. I always sort of refer to StarCraft as I guess the holy grail of RTS design, and you can debate what you will about if you like that game or not, but certainly it has the highest budget of any RTS, and so then you can use that to think about the design is very deliberate and the UI features and such. So I know with Ashes we've based a few of our sort of little UI reworks off of trying to replicate the StarCraft 2 system, like the way that the chat works. Originally the chat was kind of weird. We changed it to look more like the StarCraft, because it's just a really good system. So is there any words, units in StarCraft 2 that don't pluralize well? I can't think of any. Stalkers, Immortals, Colossus. But Colossi is fine. You can say Colossi. That's probably the only thing. Like 7 Colossi. It's different to Zeus. Anyway. Heavy laser turret has been caught by these Zeus K-bots. So the cans, I believe they can win the trades versus these Zeus K-bots. Given that they're much slower, you'd certainly hope so. Put in Pyros as well now. The Pyros are pretty good. But man, this bottom left, the top right, metal extractors everywhere. Let's see how they go. So, keeping the instigator tanks behind the cans would be a better way of doing that. You want your opponents to focus the tougher units. But let's see how the cans go. They're outnumbered, but much tougher. Good focus fire as well. We see core players making sure they're all focusing the same target. With Zeus, I think they were just on an attack move. They were sort of focusing whatever. Either way, the numbers makes the difference here. I was considering making a joke about can opener. If I only had a can opener, but that's pretty lame. I wonder if any people in the past have made that same joke about a can opener. I'm sure there has. Okay, good defensive line. Heavy laser turret, 2 of the light laser turrets. A lot of stumpy tanks, medium tanks. You're actually getting good engagements. The stumpies are always hitting, where normally they just miss. What I will say about TA is I think it's harder to come back in TA than it is in Subcom. So air transports aren't very good in TA, whereas air transports are really strong in Subcom. So in Subcom you always have that option to, you know, drop your opponent, kill a bunch of extractors, kill a bunch of power, whatever it is. Whereas in TA, they're so expensive, they don't carry a lot of units. Bombers, are generally a better way of harassing, and that's what we're going to see here. But then again, the map is also really small and really open, so perhaps the reason why I haven't seen transports used in these replays is because of the maps. If they were playing bigger, more choke-pointed maps, then perhaps the transports would be a lot more viable in that sense. I do have a pretty small sample size of these replays that I'm going off of, so I don't want to make these sweeping generalizations, but I've only casted, like, I don't know, seen about 5 replays and played, I don't know, 30 games or so. Right, we have the heavy rocket K-bots. These are really good. They can just kite backwards for days. But that won't matter if the Zeus are going for the Moho extractors. You want to defend those if you can. A lot of tanks mixed in there as well. Pyros around the side. That's actually a decent number of Pyros. He can take out significant amounts of units, but with those bombers in the air, maybe he'll take out the Pyros. There's a really good harassment here. Tried to build a fusion power plant, cancelled it. There goes some of the solar collectors. What does he go for now? Oh man, going for the advanced lab would be really good, but it might take him too long, and the Zeus are pretty low by now with all these rockets firing at them, and he's taking out at least a few more of these solar collectors. Okay, Pyro's now within range of the solar collectors of the arm. Bombers still haven't deployed their bombs yet. Waiting a little bit too long there. Still there, wow. Trying to get any more damage that he can. Yeah, taking out more of these solar collectors. I think he one-shots them, that's crazy. Right, look at this, wow. This is probably even more deadly. The pyros are so good versus buildings. Fidos are here, but very late to the fight. Look at the whole bottom left expansion as well, so. Pretty great play here from Red. Executrix is his name. I'm sort of surprised he built so much power so far forward rather than building it a bit more safe in his base. I guess this is where he had all of his construction K-bots, and they move so slowly that moving them all the way back to the base to build those generators would take too long. Well, here come the Fidos. Those are artillery K-bots, so they can take out those defenses. Needs to scout for them as well. He does have a airfield, so he can just go for the scout planes. The peepers. Oh no, yeah, peepers. Still looks like the ARM player is ahead, but there is a lot of these rocket K-bots, so that's should be enough, despite all these tanks, but I think if this game goes for longer, then surely it's just a matter of time until the eco gets too strong. But I don't actually see that many Moho extractors. I see 1, 2. Yeah, really, there's not many, is there? 3. I can't tell by zooming out. 4. Okay, maybe it's actually more than I thought. What about here? 1, 2, 3. 3 that I can see, so maybe 4. Yeah, he's building solar collector, I think, just to block the projectiles. I love that. Yeah. It's actually working really well. His walls won't block the projectiles of these Fidos. You can see those are pretty effective there versus those buildings. That is a nasty army, though. Whoa, Sumo! That's a really expensive unit. That's like a tier 2.5 heavy K-bot. The mortar K-bots as well. Oh wow, he's found a Moho extractor. That's a great opportunity there to take that out. Oh, it goes past it. So the teching in this works kind of weirdly, because you have some units in the tier 2 actually cost more than the experimental. For example, Core have this Flamer buggy, which is not expensive, costs I think about 1,000 metal. But the Sumo costs about 2,500 metal, so it's a stronger unit. At least in terms of raw stats, despite being an earlier tier. But let's see how much this Sumo actually does. The rocket K-bots as well, the heavy rocket K-bots still looking pretty nasty. One-shotting all these tanks. Wow, there's so many of them here, though. Stumpies. I think they're Dominators? These rocket bots. I must admit, I was more prepared for my first cast. I had all these names sort of memorized, fresh in my head. This time I was like, you'll be right, just jump in a game. So I haven't been using all the unit names because it does elude me on many of them. So I can't hover over the icons. I can't hover over the name. Anyway, let's see how well this many Stumpies do versus the Sumo and the number of supporting units. Oh wow, the Fidos versus the Dominators. Pretty sure the Dominators are better in this situation. as you can see. Such a slow unit. But these stumpies are getting completely annihilated. Half of them have already been destroyed. They haven't done anything yet. Taken out a single laser turret, and that's it. Rocket K-Bot's just doing so much damage. Wow, that was a fantastic engagement there for the core player. Keeping all his units alive. Didn't lose anything, but the ARM player throwing away a lot of his tanks. Continuing to build all of these bombers. There is anti-air in the base, but not mobile anti-air. I don't know how effective these are versus air units, so this could be the strategy here, is wait until all these units push out away from the static defenses and then just send all these bombers against them. Don't know how effective that'll be, but I guess we'll soon find out. Not much tier 2 production, only building the Zeus K-Bots. That's it. Is that the same? It looks like there's only a single... Oh wow, the Bulldogs as well. Here we go. The heavy tanks. That's much better. Fusion power plant. So just the single tier 2 production, it seems, as well for the core player. Pop up heavy laser turret, very powerful. And I like how there's constantly been effort by both of these players to try and rebuild those extractors. How many bombers is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 bombers. That is expensive. Maybe it would have been worth going for the gunships instead. Okay, needs to consolidate, does ARM. Peseki, his name is, because this army is well grouped up and they have a lot of range. They can pick off these small armies very easily. Wow, there's even more of them here too, oh my god. Yes, so many of those heavy rocket K-Bots. Bulldogs, however, found a nice flank into the base. The army's out of position. He can do some serious damage. Laser turrets are nothing in front of those heavy tanks. So these ones are pulling back, so... yeah, I gotta be careful. You can see these Bulldogs just one-shotting these solar collectors. Or at least when they're not folded up, they do. I just love how crude these units are. I think that's just a scout plane. Yeah, that's the scout planes. Wow, this is a pretty nasty attack here. He's building more defenses in a hurry. There's a couple of those heavy laser turrets. Maybe it'll be enough given just how many there are together. But here we go. Here come the bombers. So many payloads being dropped right now, but it's not that effective. And because of how spread out the units are, it's a single narrow path, and the rocket bots are attacking the air. Yeah, the bomber's not that good versus mobile units, or at least not versus tier 2 units. Another volley coming in now. See, there's not many units being... Okay, that was a pretty good run there. Is there a ground army follow-up? Wow, we see the sniper K-Bot's going to be opening up as well. They're very spread out. Meanwhile, the defense is held out. The Bulldogs and the Zeus K-Bot's going to be trying to defend his base. He's found a Moho extractor. This is a really effective push. So many bombers though, they're just continually strafing these targets. Taking out some of these important structures. I think those are resource collectors. Heavy laser turret being targeted there by the sumo, but K-bot construction units taking up that. See, once again, we see the strategy where they put buildings in front of it to soak up the damage there, but there was actually a volatile structure that blew up and took them all out. Sumo now has been caught by a bulldog, and look at all those bombs coming through. Wow, that's a nice bombing run, but it's a single target tough unit, which is not what the bombers are designed for. I think it'll whittle it down though. The bulldog's at least wrapping around the back. I think we can see it smoking. It must be pretty low now. There it goes. A lot of cans. Wow, perimeter wall. That's fantastic. Blocking up even more damage. And that's a very deadly turret, the Viper, I believe it's called. Those cans are taking so much damage from that turret. Is he gonna pull back? I don't know how much health this wall has left. Jeez. And he threw away too many. Oh, he actually took it out there in the end. Building his own defenses now. Oh, that's the same thing. Yeah, that's the pop-up turret with the walls around it. So I hope we have some heavy anti-airs. I need to get some flak anti-air, preferably. Maybe even just some fighters, because there isn't any anti-air in the side of the arm player. Man, so many bombers though. Oh my god. You can probably just one-shot that fusion power, which will have a nasty chain reaction. Still no anti-air down here. Okay, here he goes. He's found all the economy structures. Moho extractors being targeted. Solar collectors as well. Fusion power plant blows up. Huge explosion. Takes out a lot of the solar collectors near him. Flak anti-air ripping up. Takes all the bombers out, but that was a very effective bombing run. That being said, the air construction plant was taken out, so no more air production. The cans heavily outnumbered by the Bulldogs and the Zeus K-bots. It's gonna be harder for him to recreate his army, but actually gets a Goliath and a couple of Goliath tanks, that is. Oh, look at this, 3 Moho extractors. This is a great fight. He's got a couple of units isolated, but the range of the Bulldogs is so much that they're actually not isolated completely. Hard to tell who has the better economy here, because I still think the core player has more Moho extractors, despite there being a lot more tier 1 extractors. But these are just general eco income, I'm pretty sure, so. Dunno, man. Right now though, this is a huge army, but this is a great position with those double, even a triple there on the side, heavy laser turrets, the GAT turrets. G.A.A.T. More down here as well. All his metal storage, so maybe all the storage will allow him to get another fusion power plant unscathed. The Bulldogs are opening up. It's like a great fight so far. Bulldogs going for the cans and not for these GAT turrets. Become the Goliath tanks. Yeah, the entire time those GATs were just firing. Great defense. Stranglehold though, definitely against the core. He's look at the map. He has 1/4 of the map in the corner. Why's my alarm going off? Get up, it's 7 PM, time for school. But Mom, I don't want to go to school today. Trying to build that fusion power plant. Something that is nice about Subcom is when you build a structure off of a wreck, half of the building, it starts half completed. So if he was to rebuild the fusion power plant here, if this was Supreme Commander, which it's not, it would be halfway done. Whereas in TA, you can't do that. You can reclaim the wreck, so you get half whatever the metal is, but it doesn't save you that power cost at least. Do we have any fusion power? Surely there must be one somewhere. I don't see one. I guess if these give you energy and metal, then it doesn't actually matter. Okay, that's a advanced vehicle lab. Must have a couple of them. Getting a big army of these tanks. Bulldogs, Stumpies, Zeus. But this position's reinforced. 4 Goliath tanks, still has all this heavy laser turrets. Down here as well, where the bulk of these Moho extractors are. Man, there's so many of them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 9. It's a lot of extractors. Moho extractors. Well. No one's tried to build any artillery. Getting a plasma cannon wouldn't be a bad idea, given how long these units are just lingering around. Looking for scouting here with these Finks. Still building Goliaths. Well, he's actually finished one of those fusion reactors, now going for the other one. What's the game plan? Okay, he's going for another attack. I don't see this going well at all, though. If he tries to muscle his way in here, I just see it failing. But I think that's actually a plasma cannon, which would be quite nice. They're just sieging this base. Yeah, normally it's what you would see is artillery units. You would see the Fidos or... Whoa! What the hell was that? Was that a nuke? Nah, it mustn't be a nuke. That boom wasn't big enough. It didn't take out the Bulldogs. Oh my god. They must have severely weakened these Bulldogs, the Goliaths and the cans on the chase. Oh man, they're getting wrecked now. They're very slow. Hard to disengage from this one. It's an expensive army down. Jeez, needs to repair these Bulldogs, but won't be able to. It's backing away into one of these heavy laser turrets here, but I don't think the Goliaths are too concerned. Avoiding it would be preferable, though. Only one of these Bulldogs, Goliaths are firing, so it's not the best formation. I actually have no idea what that thing was. Maybe this is one of those tactical missile launchers. Yeah. Sniper K-bot here in the back lines. The Bulldogs actually decide to commit to this fight, which seems ill-advised, as they do get taken out here. He can cut off a fair bit of extractors if he goes here. There are defenses, but they're much further back. Another army as well in the bottom left. Pyros and a Goliath, I love that. It's a good mix for taking out structures. Goliath to soak up the damage, the Pyros to burn them down. Well, another wave of bombers. Doesn't really seem worth it. The gunships are really good, but the bombers, it just took so long to take out those other units that we saw. I think these sniper K-bots are doing really well, though. They're just picking away at these Goliaths gradually. There you go, here's a Moho extractor. It always hurts losing those. Well, I love that bang sound. Is it still putting Moho extractors? Okay, that's an advanced air plant. So perhaps realizing that gun tips would be much more effective. Oh man, he's gonna let that finish. Well, close to it. Wasting money. And 2 advanced construction units too. Yeah, jeez. These sniper bots are doing really well. I wonder how he counters them. I suppose a bunch of cheap bots would do it, like AK bots or air units especially, because I believe they're quite fragile and they're certainly quite slow. Ooh, artillery. That's nice. So that'll probably do it too. So he hasn't actually pushed out, but he's just defending his Moho extractors as he pushes these out. I love the animation of those sniper bots when you see them. They walk around with their hands out, and then when they get in combat, they pull their sniper out and it folds out. It looks really sick. Same with the Maverick, the gunslinging K-bots. They look so cool when they get those weapons. Okay, the Goliath has been left behind. I guess it won't matter with that many pyros. I don't know how the pyros interact with the walls. I'm guessing they just go over them. I hope they don't. Jeez. Okay, the bombers are going in. I don't know if there's any flak here though. There's certainly some missile turrets, but... And they're doing pretty well for themselves, going for the Moho extractors, so that's pretty good damage. Wow, they get taken out though, a lot of missile turrets. She just avoids that GAT. Well, it's actually not a GAT, it's just a heavy laser turret there for the arm. Good harassment. They did throw away a lot of those bombers. I don't think they exactly achieved much either. And this advanced air plan is pretty exposed where it is. Again, another interesting spot for it, rather than building it further back. Bordeaux's now within range of these artillery tanks. Flanking around the side, that's really good. This will probably finish in time though. Taking out those Moho extractors is always worth it. Yeah, it finishes. Does he try and kill it? There's no walls around it, so he probably can kill it. Yeah, Pyro's trying to attack the bombers. Oh wow, flak anti-air, that's nasty. Yeah, the Pyros have snuck through. So we could go for the advanced K-bot lab. Those advanced structures are so expensive. They take a long time to build. Taking those out is quite crippling. Advanced Air Lab 2. Yeah, there goes the K-bot lab. I think if that's energy storage, I think it's volatile. Or maybe it's metal storage. Yeah, Air Lab goes down as well. So much artillery. Prevents the counter attack. A lot of defenses in position, but that's what the arty's for. Oh man, all these solar collectors. It looks so funny. He's trying to shoot down bombers with a flamethrower. Good luck, bro. Well, that was effective. And more Moho extract. Look at that, triple fusion power plant. So many vehicle construction vehicles. He's actually just boosting out those shadow bombers. He has a significant number there. There is a fair bit of anti-air though. But if he just scouts where the anti-air is not, that could be quite effective. Like in the back base, there isn't a lot. It's really... Oh, there's a bunch of anti-air there. And down here somewhere. Yeah, there. Well, a lot of bulldogs on the map. That's actually heaps. And that is an artillery installation of some kind. Man, look at that line. That whole line is bulldogs. Looks like he took out a few, however. Oh, another missile. Jeez. These missiles are certainly doing work. Okay, this is the real threat here. There's a lot of GATs, but... Oh, wow! Look at that. That's actually an experimental. Did I miss an... Jeez, how did I miss this? He's got an experimental lab, and he's got one of the experimental K-bots. Wow, that's so good. It's exactly what he needs right now. They have really long range, too. It's sort of like an artillery unit. And he's actually hitting this hill. But he can whittle away these bulldogs from a distance. The Artie's moving in. He's taking out all these defenses here. I actually can't... Oh wow, look at that Artie installation, man. He's really missing a lot. Okay, I don't know what this tank is. That might be an experimental tank as well. Well, this experimental hasn't done a lot so far. I mean, he's still not going to prevent these Moho extractors going down, but we'll eventually take him out. Meanwhile, the bomber army is massive. The Artie's taken out a fair bit, but oh man, being collapsed on by the bulldogs. These Arties are not good in a front-up fight. Need to back away to something else. This Artie installation could go down. Another missile comes through. Oh, that's a diplomat, not the big missile of doom. Yeah. They actually got multiple of these experimentals. They have long range. The entire bottom left has been cleared out. The bottom right still has some extractors and a lot of bombers here, so maybe we'll just take out this installation of Artie. Yeah, that thing's pretty vulnerable. I don't think there's any flak anti-air. These are close though. Get a scout craft looking for something. So what is it looking for? These are experimental construction units. Perhaps going for the mantle extractors, the tier 3. Wow, is it the Artie from this thing? Yeah, it is a mantle extractor. I'd imagine that experimental bot's really good versus these. Wow, look at all these bombers. There must be 30 of them. Scout planes as well to soak up the damage. It's going for all these bulldogs. Okay, so he's found the anti-air here. Does he commit to even flak as well? This could be pretty nasty for these bombers. Takes out one of the production structures. Found another resource boarding which blows up. Takes out all of those construction units. Goes for more of the production. All the structures are being destroyed here. Even the vehicle plant in the main base may fall. I like how he didn't just go for those bulldogs. He took out so many of these crucial structures. The production structures, the income structures. That was a fusion power plant, I think, so some kind of, you know, important resource building. This has been a long game. It's been like an hour, I think. Almost an hour. Oh wait, I swore he was building a mantle. Maybe not. Okay, whatever. Big explosion there. Ah, the experimentals. Here we go. Yeah, they have so much range. However, they seem to have a problem firing through these hills. It's like a giant sumo. Oh, look at that pop-up laser turret too. That's pretty cool. Bulldogs going in for the base, but not really well grouped up, so they're getting picked off by these defenses. A lot of arty there as well. Experimental arty bots gonna be firing. Man, they keep hitting these bloody hills. The Moho extractor is blocking the shots from this laser turret. This is a good push. It's gonna take out the arty. Well, even the mobile arties as well getting taken out here. Send those in a little bit too close. I don't know what that structure was, but it's been destroyed. Good damage, but there's a lot of defenses behind this, so we can't really push through any further. With so much arty, it's a good strategy. Is you have your arty, have your defenses, and then it's hard to punish the arty because if you push in, you just get hit by all these laser defenses. Oh wow, they even have laser weapons too? Oh my god. Okay, they're stronger than I thought they were. Really behind in production, having to rebuild those advanced production structures. I think he's just gonna kill him with all these experimentals. I don't know what these things are. Oh, they're anti-air, aren't they? Yeah, I think they're anti-air, I believe. Which makes sense, because these things don't have anti-air of their own. He doesn't know how many bombers there are, or gunships, or whatever. He's actually putting... Is that a Krogoth? Nah, it's too small for a Krogoth. I'm glad we saw experimentals this game. I hope he can crush the wall. I doubt he can't. He can. I don't think you can crush it all in this game. I know you can in Subcom. You can crush with experimentals. Light laser turret. You are past your use by date, my friend. Another sumo here as well. Whoa, more bombers. They finally finished another advanced vehicle lab. There's the GG. I think he just quit. Or maybe even the commander was there, I don't know. GG. Man, that was an intense game. I think what happened there was the arm player, Peseki, he was in a great spot. I mean, his opener was fantastic. But well, two things. He kind of threw away a lot of units that didn't exactly do much. You know, mainly those stumpies. There was like 50 stumpies that just died, which was sort of sad. But also, he didn't get enough Moho extractors, whereas even though the core player, Executrix, he was lacking in map control, but made up for it just by having a superior number of those tier 2 extractors, the Moho extractors. And they do give you a significant more rate of income than the tier 1 extractors, so that definitely paid off in the long run, and had several of those fusion power plants. I think the ARM player was going for those resource collectors, which aren't very efficient compared to metal extractors, so maybe that was the problem there. I don't know. Let us know what you think. Hopefully you've enjoyed this one. That was a long cast. I'm tired now from that, and but hopefully you enjoyed that one. Subscribe for more TA content. I will cast more at some point. And I also cast a lot of other RTS games, so if you enjoy the channel, then have a look through our other library of RTS games that we cast. It's quite extensive these days. So that's it. Thanks for watching. Follow me on Twitter to keep up with all of my RTS rants and such at GG the Machine, and that's in the description below. Cheers.